Referendums and their consequences. On September 23, voting began in 4 regions on the inclusion of territories into Russia. Zelensky went into a hard refusal and said that this would not change anything for Ukraine. Of course it is not. The Ukrainian authorities generally have a bad attitude towards plebiscites and are afraid of them like the devil incense. No one has asked the Ukrainians about really important issues for Ukraine, and no one will ask them anymore. Accession to NATO and the EU, a second state language, the renunciation of nuclear weapons, the implementation of Minsk II, all these issues were decided by the authorities for the Ukrainians. And these decisions brought the country and Ukrainians to this point of being. Here is what will actually change. Temporary freeze of the war. Russia's ability to defend these territories as its own, including with nuclear weapons. A possible ban on NATO from conducting hostilities in territories recognized by Russia as its own. Russia's demonstration of the permissiveness of the superpowers. A reason for Russia to cut off the EU supplies of gas, oil, electricity for arming Ukraine for a war against its now territories. In the Donbass, they were waiting for this referendum, but they saw it all differently. Russia also wanted to spend it as in the Crimea, and not under shelling and in conditions where everyone who could leave the territories away from the war. Everything is at stake, so the legality and procedures are not paid much attention. Referendums will be held as it will. Their results are clear. Zelensky did everything to ensure that only those who are for voted. Since 2014, we have been hearing that Crimea is Ukraine, but NATO does not allow even Ukraine to fight for it. Even if not legally, but in fact, Ukraine, if not forever, then for a very long time, is losing its territories. They will not tell you this on TV. There are only victories near Kharkiv and a successful exchange of Azovites. The ongoing referendum changes literally everything and gives the Russian leadership more room for maneuver. Now they can easily send the regular army and police to these territories for protection, as well as send officials, state employees, and so on. Allocate a budget for this and introduce their own laws. In general, this is what happens. In 2014, because of the Maidan, Ukraine lost Crimea and part of the Donbass. 2022, loses the entire Donbass, Kherson and Zaporozhye regions. The whole country is in ruins. There will be a complete collapse in winter, and famine is possible in 2023. Ukraine must understand that something is doing wrong, since every time it gets worse and worse, maybe it's worth stopping and admitting it before it's completely too late. Today, thanks to propaganda, many believe in victory, just as everyone on the Maidan believed that, having driven Yanukovych away, they would live like in the EU, but everything turned out to be hundreds of times worse.